So yes girls, I welcome you back for our next session, which is the 10th lecture. So now in this session I am going to continue the same topic, which is origin and development of micro insurance. So we understood what are the reasons for micro insurance to set up, micro insurance policies to set up. Now we will try to understand its characteristics. Okay, so let's write down. So what are the characteristics of micro insurance clients in the market? So now we are trying to understand whose characteristics? Characteristics of micro insurance clients. So who are the clients of micro insurance? Policy holders. So that means customers who are of weaker sections. So let us try to understand. Now if in the typically family background people, it is not mandatory that one policy holder should purchase only one policy, and if he wanted to purchase to his wife should come and purchase. No, this is in the formal insurance company. So here the characteristics of insurance company is that one household, if he is already purchased a policy, he can also purchase another policy on behalf of his wife. So that is first characteristic. Second characteristic is agricultural labor is one of the main source of this micro insurance plans. Okay, so you are targeting all farmers. It's simple to say you are targeting the farmers. So farmers are coming, okay, and they are trying to they are like weaker section people. So in order to meet their requirements, we are trying to set up this company. Okay. Next one is because of poverty. Okay. Another characteristics of its clients is that they are into various community groups with below poverty line. Next one is they are having rural background. What is the next point? Rural communities, and since they are not having a larger scope of doing fraud or malpractices, it is very easy to handle the weaker section people, and their characterization is that they don't do much of fraud or cheating. Okay. Next one is lower level people do not read, so they get easily attracted to the media like radio or else news which is coming in the media. They very much they get attracted to them. Since they cannot read, they will not go with the newspapers, they are not going to any kind of schools or colleges. So that's why they wanted to know about the news. They will switch on the radio or they will switch on some kind of media where they can listen instead of reading. So that's why it is very easy to do advertising of micro insurance policies also. Then next one is, since the rural area people are not having proper communication facilities or else municipality facilities, the standard of living is also very poor. So based on that also we have come up with this particular sector. Understood? So these are something about, so this is something about micro insurance industry. Okay, so now you understood how it has been developed, the reasons and the characterizations or else characteristics of micro insurance plans. Okay, so that's it girls. We will try to move to another topic which is called as regulation of ULIPs, pension schemes, money laundering and KYC. Okay. So first we will try to understand regulations of okay. Then we will try to move with pension schemes, money laundering and KYC. So this pension schemes we have already discussed in your previous semester. We have discussed about this unit linked, okay, unit linked insurance plans. ULIP means unit linked insurance plans. What is this? Unit linked insurance plans. So as you all know, most recently IRDA with a holistic view, it has got ULIPs and addressed issues impacting the policy holders, including the way such products are sold and bought. Okay, so it is IRDA, why this ULIPs has been regulated, because the IRDA has come up with a very good opinion stating what is, along with the policy that you are taking, additional advantage or benefit that they are trying to link is the protection of a life of a policy holder. Now say example, you are trying to take marine insurance. You know what is the meaning of marine insurance? You are trying to give a coverage against the damage of the property during the transportation. So this is actually a marine insurance. So now what is meant by unit linked? So a unit is added, another benefit is being added to this marine insurance. What is that other benefit is, not only giving the protection to your property, but additionally we are going to give the protection to the life of that driver also. Okay, so that is called as unit linked insurance plans. So whenever you are purchasing any kind of insurances against the protection of the materialistic things or values, you have to ensure whether there is a unit linked in that. Unit linked scheme is there or not. Why? Because it is an additional benefit given by the insurance company, okay, to the policy holder, not only protecting their property, but they are going to protect their life also. Okay, so with that, it has legally mandate. It has become, because of the instructions given by IRDA, legally it has become mandatory for every insurance company to come up with this unit linked insurance plans. Okay, so let us try to understand ULIP structure related charges. Structural changes was ULIP structural okay. So first one is lock-in period increased to 5 years. So IRDA has increased lock-in period for all the unit-linked products from 3 years to 5 years. So simple to say, the payment of the premium period will be there. Like you have to pay for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whichever is fixed by IRDA. So for this unit-linked products means policies. Okay. So for these unit-linked products, the lock-in period is the payment for the premium can be paid. The premium should be paid within 3 years only. Okay. But now from 3 years, the lock-in period has moved to 5 years, which made comfortable for all the policy holders. Okay. Second one, level of paying premium. Level of paying premium. So for all the what you can say, regular premium or limited premium, ULIPs shall have the uniform or level of premiums. So that means to say you are paying the premium per month. Take example per month. Sometimes you are paying 2,500, sometimes you are paying 5,000, sometimes you are paying 6,000. So there is no uniformity. There is no proper level. So now what IRDA has decided is every month you are going to pay equal amount. Like every month which is comfortable for you to do payment. Maybe 2,500 is comfortable for you. So yes, you can pay only 2,500 every month instead of 1 month paying 5,000, 1 month paying 6,000. Okay? Now, third one is even distribution of charges. So charges of ULIPs are mandated to be distributed equally in the lock-in period, okay, to ensure that high front-ending of expenses is eliminated. So usually once the policy holder is collecting the claim, that time the company will levy charges on them, some kind of administrative charges. So instead of keeping a burden on a policy holder at a time, the charges are also being distributed equally along with the premium. The charges that the policy holder has to pay, that also they have distributed equally so that it will not become a burden to the policy holder at the last. Okay, next one. Minimum pay premium term of 5 years. So this already it is covered here, ma. So lock period, if it is moved from 3 years to 5 years, then that means premium also you can pay within 5 years only. The next one is increase in the risk component. So fourth one, which I have already explained, your minimum premium paying term. Minimum period of paying premium is of 5 years. Okay. The next one is increase in risk component. So these are the regulations, means these are the changes that IRDA has got in the unit linked insurance plans. So regulations means what kind of rules IRDA has got in case of ULIPs. So these are the rules and regulations that it has got. Okay. So increase in risk component means before the risk in unit linked plan maybe they covered only 20% or only 30%. Now they have covered 70%. So likewise, the risk component, whichever they have taken into consideration, there is an increase in that it seems. Okay, they started sharing the risk of the policy holders a bit more. Okay, there is an increase in that. Likewise, they have given you a table here now as how the component has been increased. If you read that, you will try to understand easily. Then sixth one is minimum guaranteed return for pension products. So if you are trying to take pension products that are linked with ULIPs, they are guaranteeing you some minimum amount that they will try to return to you all while they are giving your pensions. Okay? Then seventh one, rationalization of cap on charges. So I already told you all what is meant by caps. Okay? The amount which a policy holder can avoid while claiming the coverage benefits. Okay? So when you rationalization of caps means what? Caps means coverage. So when you are claiming your coverage, you can easily avoid all the charges that you are supposed to pay. Why? Because you have already paid the charges before itself. So pay now. Okay, so caps means I already told you this is nothing but coverage. Then discontinuance of charges. So yes, IRDA has even understood or addressed discontinuations of charges. So usually what happens is, I'm trying to explain this point, listen carefully. Sometimes the policy holders pay certain amount for certain period. Now say unit insurance plans are supposed to pay for 5 years. Now I just paid for 3 years. Now I have started discontinuing. So what I will do, I will go and ask my 3 years amount to return back. So that time, if we are trying to discontinue the policy, they will levy certain charges on us itself. That too heavy charges. So what did IRDA do is, IRDA addressed this issue. What did IRDA do? It has addressed this issue. It has ensured that no insurance company will levy more charges on the policy holder because of the discontinuance of the policy. Okay, that means to say they will collect some charges because we have discontinued in between. They will levy charges, but it will not be heavy charges. Okay, so that's it, girls. This is about regulations of ULIPs. Okay, now we will try to discuss about pension schemes. So what is meant by a pension? Okay, as you all know, pension means once you got retired. Okay, so once you got retired, whatever the amount that you are supposed to receive, okay, every month, not in the form of salary, but you are getting certain amount in order to survive even after your job or retirement, during the retirement stage, that is called as pension scheme. So, Pension Fund Regulation and Development Authority, which is PFRDA. So, this is Pension Fund Regulation and Development Authority. So, what did PFRDA do is, it has regulated the pension and its works towards the promotion and the development. Okay, so PFRDA has come into picture in order to promote, control and develop the concept called as pension. Okay, so it has given certain, see, for every sector there is one regulation body, regulatory authority. Now for insurance side, if you see, IRDA is there, and same time pension side if you see, PFRDA is there. PF means pension fund. So this particular regulation authority has regulated pension schemes. What is meant by regulation? Ensuring that this sector of business will try to work in an organized way. It will try to guide them, it will try to develop them, it will try to promote the business of pension funds, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, what it will do finally is, just like, insurance products are guided by, many banking sector people like RBI or else IDBI or else SEBI. So SEBI is controlling stock exchanges, RBI is controlling the banks, IRDA scheme companies. So what is this PFRDA will do? PFRDA will administer and look after the national pension system, which is NPS, National Pension System, and it will try to also administer Atal Pension Yojana, which is given by a government. Okay, so this PFRDA controls national pension system. Okay, means in whole India, whoever is giving pensions, whether government companies or non-government companies, all these are guided by PFRDA. In the same way, all the government schemes which are providing pensions, even those like Atal Pension Yojana, even that is controlled by this PFRDA. Now, what are the functions of PFRDA? So let's discuss the functions of PFRDA. So, one of the major function of PFRDA is, as I already told you all, it is trying to regulate and administer Atal Pension Yojana and National Pension System, which is nothing but NPS. So, what is meant by NPS? National Pension Scheme. Okay? Now, that is point number 1. Regulate and administer NPS and Atal Pension Yojana, APY. Now, next point is establish, develop and promote pension funds. What it will do is, all these words you know, girls. Establish means you know, develop means you know, regulate means you know. So, these three pair for what you will do for pension funds. Third one, you will try to register and regulate intermediaries. So whoever are acting as an intermediaries in these pension schemes, for them we are trying to control them, regulate them, and we are trying to register them also. Okay. So likewise we are going to help the management also, and we will try to promote them, train them, encourage them to become a professional organization in dealing with the pension funds. We are going to, we means PFRDA, going to train and educate the intermediaries, and we are going to conduct inquiries, take the feedbacks, call anyone for information, means if you wanted to do certain surveys and collect the information, that also you are going to do. So that's it now. So here they have given a little bit topic about what is National Pension Scheme. I already told you all that. So then what is meant by pension fund, that also you know. Okay, pension fund is one of the intermediaries which has been granted a certificate of registration by PFRDA. It is an authority for receiving contribution, investing them and paying the subscribers in the specified manner. So pension fund means intermediaries, that means the middle persons are carrying this business, pension fund. So not everybody will get pension, isn't it? Now take example of a auto driver or any private employee. Will he get pension? No. Until he work, he will get salary, but afterwards he will not get the pension. So for such type of people, they can buy this policy, pension fund scheme. They can buy this scheme by investing certain amount. So these pension fund companies will try to collect the investment, secure them, and whenever they are in the retirement stage, so every month they will start giving the amount in the form of pension. So that is the job of pension fund. So now with this your pension schemes, regulation of pension scheme is over. Then money laundering and KYC is left. Okay, so I will try to discuss about money laundering. So regulation of pension scheme is over. Now I will discuss about money laundering. So I will write here only. Regulation of money laundering. So this is the second one, because first one I have already discussed about ULIP. So what was the first one? ULIP. So that is over. This is over. Now this is the third one, which is money laundering. So now, Prevention of Money Laundering Act has come in the year 2002 by the Parliament of India, which is enacted by NDA government. Okay, so Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Now, by the way, what is meant by money laundering? Money laundering is transfer of the money, okay, from one account to the other account illegally, means black money. Okay, so if you are trying to maintain black money, or else if you are trying to transfer some kind of illegal amount without putting on your account, you are trying to transfer into the other accounts by taking the help of different kinds of banks, then that is called as money laundering. So what is meant by black money? All the money for which you didn't pay the income tax is nothing but black money. Okay, so if that black money is you know what you are doing, you are trying to transfer it on the other names. So that time what happens is, that is an illegal act in the eyes of government. So that's the reason Parliament of India, that time in 2002, NDA government was there. Okay, so now BJP government, that time NDA government was there. So that has brought Prevention of Money Laundering Act in the year 2002. So what did it do? It has started. Okay, so this is called as PMLA. So in shortcut, Prevention of Money Laundering Act is called as PMLA. So now you tell me, ULIP is controlled by what? IRDA. Pension scheme is regulated by what? PFRDA. In the same way, money laundering is regulated by PMLA. Okay, so PMLA, what did it do? It has notified some rules and regulations. It started imposing certain, roles and responsibilities on the heads of banks, on the heads of any financial intermediaries, on the heads of any financial clients to take care of this transferring of money laundering. Okay, so this activity of transferring money laundering, okay, PMLA has worked hard in order to protect our India from that activity called money laundering. Okay, so why did this PMLA has come? It wanted to prevent and control money laundering. Then it wanted to protect the property against the laundered money, and it wanted to deal with all the issues which are connected to money laundering. So what kind of regulations it has got? It first wanted to eradicate money laundering, then it wanted to control and prevent money laundering, and it wanted to deal with all the issues that are connected to money laundering, and it wanted to seize the property. See, somebody has purchased the property with the black money. So in such cases, it wanted to seize such type of properties. So this is very small topic, which is called as money laundering. In my next session, I will try to discuss about KYC, and that KYC we will try to continue in the next session. Okay. Thank you, girls. Have a nice day.